Hello, Brad West here of Wild West Horsemanship Australia. I wanted to do a video of introducing a stock whip to your horse. I use these quite a bit when I'm training horses. Here we have a young filly named Promise. She's here for breaking in, but today I just thought I'd do a little bit of groundwork with her. Not so much a before and after video. She's never had a whip cracked around her, so that's why I wanted to do this video. So it's really starting from scratch with her. I'm doing this out in the paddock because we've had a lot of rain down here in Victoria, and this is pretty much the only dry bit of ground that we have here. So otherwise I'd be in the round yard, but I decided to do it out here. So with my stock whip, I was always taught, or any gear you use with the horse, it becomes a part of you. So like how stockmen would have used them back in the day, or cowboys have their ropes, stockmen have their whips. It's just it's like a custom thing that we carry around when we work with our horses. But I'll show you how I was taught, or how I like to work with a horse when I'm using a whip. I remember as a teenager watching those movies like Man from Snow River, where you just thought you just sit in the saddle and crack a whip and that's how it worked, but it didn't always end well. So I'll show you what I like to do. First off, we have our whip as you'd sort of normally carry it around if that was on your saddle. And I just like to rub my horse down with it. Same as you would if you were throwing your saddle up, or your lead rope, or your lariat, your McCarty, anything. Like I could do the same with my lead here. You know, you'd throw your reins up to go for a ride. I just do the same with my whip. Rub it down the head. We can get on both sides. It's okay if she moves around. I like to let them move their feet. I don't really like training horses and holding them like this and saying, you're going to stand there while I do this. It's like us, if we're afraid of something. I was actually talking to a friend today about if you were at a theme park with a friend and they were scared of heights, and you wanted to go on the biggest roller coaster there was, and you knowing that they were scared of heights, you grabbed them by the shirt and saying, we're going on that. Chances are they don't want to go on that roller coaster, so they're probably going to fight you. So if a horse is a little bit worried, it's okay if they move around. No, but I just like to reassure her that this, while it's in my hand, it's not going to hurt her. Let's turn her side on here so you can see. But then as you get better, you make your coils bigger. Throw it up. Throw it all over their body, because if you were to use your whip, chances are it may land on them back here when you swing it. You know, you touch their legs. Then let your coils out so you've got your full length of your whip. That's all right. If she gets a little bit worried, I just throw that up over there. She knows that if she gets worried, she can come to me for safety. Now, one thing my teacher used to do back in the day when we were doing this, rather than do the almighty gunshot crack to start off with, we just sort of throw our whip around like this. Because you know, you might be up in the saddle moving cows, you might not need to crack your whip. You might be at the back just moving a mob, and just, you know, you might throw it out there. But we just used to do little flicks like this. we'd walk to the end of our lead rope, and then as the horse's confidence got better, you'd walk in. But like I said, see how I'm holding my lead rope? She's free to move if she wants, but she's also free to stand there if she wants. So I just like to, you might just swing it around. But one thing I was taught too, it's your attitude and behaviour that will also help the horse. I'm kind of standing here relaxed saying, you can just stand there, I'll do all the work. There's nothing to worry about. If I was standing here with this whip going, I'm going to crack this now, chances are she'd be a little bit worried about it. But if you just take your time, like I'm in no hurry, I will probably do a big crack here, but there's no real deadline with working with horses. You don't need to look at the clock. I find when you try and rush things, that's when it all goes belly up. But I'll just sort of, you can walk in like this, swing it over, throw it up over their back, goes around their legs, that's good too. This also works good too if you've got a horse that has never had their feet picked up. You can throw your whip down there, throw it round the back. I'll bring her back over here just so we can get it in camera. Now, I've got my rope like this, but it's also loose. There we go. You don't always have to do big cracks, you can do little ones. I like to kind of mimic if you were on their back. See, she's not really ready for that just yet, but you just continue. Oh yeah, that's a good one. She can move. You can swap hands too. I'm not as good with my left, but we practice that. I don't do a lot of whip cracking like this because the neighbours we have around, we've all got our own animals and things like that, but every now and then it's good to do this kind of thing. Sneak up here, or not sneak, but stand up here beside her as if I was on her back. Swing it over. See, she's a little bit worried about that going up over her head. Just put her back. Fine. Like I said, she's never had a whip used around her. I didn't want to do a before and after video, so this is a start from scratch. Very similar if you use a rope with a horse. Sometimes when they move around, I'll just keep swinging. Really, when you're using the stock whip, they'll be moving their feet when you're on their back too, so sort of shows her that she can move her feet while this whip is swinging too. Yeah. And you just let them stand there. Sometimes too, you can crack it beside them. She's doing a really good job. Sometimes too, you might just flick this from side to side too. I like to crack it behind them too, because some cracks you do, the stock whip will crack behind them. That works too if you're riding, if they have a loud noise behind them, if you're out riding. Hopefully they won't panic as much when you're riding. We get a lot of trucks and stuff on the roads here where we are, and motorbikes, and we have neighbours that go out shooting and stuff like that, so I like to get them accustomed to this as much as you can. But if something loud does go off, they won't really be fussed by it. I'll finish the video there.